Games, Brains Are Banging Life, but with a flashback for a Sega Saturn game. A Sega Saturn game that I don't think is iconic for us, but very memorable because it was one of the earliest, it was the earliest 32-bit console game we ever played. It came bundled with a Sega Saturn when Brendan bought one back in the day, and Clockwork Knight was one of the games that came with it. I think it was a launch title, and because of that, Clockwork Knight was the first game we ever played from the 32-bit era. That's amazing, you know? A side-scrolling platform video game developed and published by Sega for the Saturn. It was released in Japan in '94, in North America in '95, and in Europe or later in '95. And it was followed by a sequel, Clockwork Knight 2. Now, I'm going to struggle to say this. Sir Tongaria de Pepperuccia III, or Pepper for short, is a toy soldier. He's in love with the Clockwork Fairy Princess, Chelsea, whose voice wakes up the toys of the house every night at midnight. But he's clumsy and something of a laughingstock, especially when compared to his friendly rival Ginger, who's also after Chelsea's heart. One night, Chelsea is stolen away by an unknown force, which also hypnotizes some of the lesser toys to become fierce minions, and stand in the way of anyone who would try to rescue her. If there is no voice to wake them up anymore, then the toys will never live again. So Pepper and Ginger head off to find Chelsea before it's too late. The game is a side-scrolling platform in the vein of the Mario and the Sonic the Hedgehog series, but unlike those games, the game uses pre-rendered, digitized 2D sprites of high-resolution 3D models, similar to Donkey Kong Country series or Killer Instinct, on top of fully 3D levels with fully 3D bosses. Likes, dislikes, favorite moments, scenes, bits of music. This is going to be a short one.
Yeah.
I can say now I've got no favourite moments, scenes, bits of music at all about this.
No, me neither.
Best with the likes, level variety with some decent boss battles. Clockwork Knight isn't a very big game and it's very time sensitive. But whenever you got to a boss, it always kind of felt like it was a culmination of the journey. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of anything really positive to say apart from the fact that it's a bit of history. The game, really, the fact that it brings back the memories of when we used to play as a kid. I mean, I played it. I probably played it about 6 months ago, and I was very disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, but the memories I had of it when I was a child, and then playing it recently is like, wow, seriously, how times have changed. I mean, I know I like my old games, but it's like, yeah, that's how times have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I
well,
mean,
the only other like I've got is that it looked nice at the time. At the time when you first sort of loaded up your Sega Saturn and you got those digitized sprites and those 3D environments and 3D bosses. Bear in mind what we were coming from with the Super Nintendos and the Mega Drives. It was our first taste of what the 32-bit could offer. Don't get me wrong, it's on the scale of what we got with the 32-bit era, the PlayStation and the Saturn. Clockwork Knight is way down there. But, you know, as you said, when you were younger, you couldn't help but be impressed by that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people can pick out games that they played when they were kids, and then they go back and play it, and they'll say the same thing as like how disappointed they were. You know, same with films. Yeah, but I mean, positive wise, I mean, it was nice and colourful. You know, it was a colourful game. You know, I mean, it had its positive moments, but not a lot really, to be fair.
It's got a nice fairy tale story as well.
Yeah,
you know? For some reason, I used to put Clockwork Knight and Knights into a similar category star-wise. However, when I went back and played Knights and Christmas Nights, in fact, we did a flashback for Christmas Nights over Christmas just gone. I was way more impressed with Knights. I was like, holy shit, this still holds up. Like, you know, whereas I played Clockwork Knight as of the time of recording 5 days ago, and I did not enjoy myself at all. Which takes us to the dislikes. It has aged horribly. Now, there are many games in the Saturn that haven't aged well. Another game, as of the time of recording, I put on and thought, let me play this, and it was 2 days ago, was the original Panzer Dragoon. And I was like, fucking hell, this shit. This looks terrible. I know these early games didn't really take advantage of what the Saturn was or what it could do, but whoa, they're not good. And Clockwork Knight is definitely up there as one of the, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing about it. I mean, it's aged terribly. Again, like I said, I've got a Saturn. Shockingly, I've got a Saturn. And like I said, along with the games, like you said, I mean, Panzer Dragoon, The Horde, Gun Griffin. I don't even remember Gun Griffin.
Of course.
Yeah, all games which we grew up with, and they're terrible. I mean, I think we experienced Command and Conquer first on the Saturn too, I believe.
What did that and Resident Evil? Exactly,
and obviously then Dave moved on to the PS1 and so on and so on, and obviously they've advanced, and they're still fantastic even now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Clockwork Knight. I mean, I never played the second one, so I can't judge the second one.
I think I did, but I don't remember it well. I don't remember it well.
It can't have been that good, and if you have no memories of it, then obviously it can't be a game which stood out for you.
Well, I think that's quite an important aspect here. Is we're criticising how Clockwork Knight looks by today's standards, or the fact that it hasn't aged well, which is obviously not the right way to do things, so to speak. But what we're saying is that for all that ugliness, for all that rubbish, it's not like we have a great story or gripping gameplay to go on. You mentioned those other games and go, oh, they haven't aged well either. But the reason why they've lived longer, even something like The Horde for you, is because the gameplay or the story gripped you. Clockwork Knight didn't. Simple as that.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like the Horde it's sort of like you're building. It's a building game, and you're defending.
Which is right up your street. You love your strategy.
Yeah, exactly. Where obviously, like Clockwork Knight was more, like I said, it's a
platform.
A platform, yeah, exactly, platform game, yeah. But I mean, for its time, it was a good game, obviously, because obviously we never played it. You know, so obviously it introduced gaming to us.
Yes,
effectively. So
that, it was our first introduction to the 32-bit era, and that was special for us no matter what. So Clockwork Knight will always hold a special part in our hearts, even though we can't really add much more to the flashback now. There are no favorite moments. There are no favorite scenes. There are no favorite bits of music because the game doesn't have any. Somebody doesn't have any of that.
Yeah, nah.
You know. There you go. Flashback of Clockwork Knight. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?